Hi, I'm Britt Wyatt and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a Star Wars themed birthday cake. So the first thing that you need is an iced cake in a nice dark blue like the one we've got here. What we're going to be doing is making it look like it's got a nice starry effect on it. Now this effect is really simple to produce but produces something that's absolutely amazing to look at. So when you've got your cake, you want to leave it overnight to set. So I can touch this now and not worry about any little fingerprints going in it because we want it nice and dry. What we're going to do, I've got a bit of non-stick matting just in the middle here, and I'm going to put on a turntable, and I'm going to gently pop my cake in the middle of the turntable because I'm going to need to get access to it all the way around. To make the star paint, I've got a paint palette and I've got some white and some Snowflake colours and some Rejuvenator Spirit as well. So very gently, because these are normally filled to the top, so be careful when you open them, otherwise it will go everywhere. I'm going to put a little bit of the Snowflake dust into one of the palettes. Now with this, use a little bit to start off with and then you can always add more if you need it. And I'm going to add a little bit of white in there as well. Like so. Then to make the paint, I'm going to use Rejuvenator Spirit. And again, this stuff is very much less is more as well. So I'm going to put a few drops in to start off with and mix it together with a paintbrush. And then we can keep adding it. We want quite a loose paint for this. So this is still quite a bit thick. So I'll put some more in. And it should start to come together. So you've got a really nice mixture of the white and of the snowflake. And then you can just keep adding and keep mixing. And we are nearly done. And there you go. So this will form the basis of our paint. Then what you're going to do, I'm just going to add in just a tiny bit more. And once you've got it to this consistency that we've got, so it's really quite loose, make sure you clear off the paintbrush that you're using, so it's relatively clear. Dip it into the paint and then using your thumb or your finger, we're going to speckle onto our paint. There you go. Your fingers will get messy doing this, just to warn you, but it does come off, it'll be fine. You can also use a palette knife if you want, but I find I get more control over it when I use my hand. So when you're quite happy that you've got a really nice covering, you can start to do the sides, and it's the same way. We're just speckling it on, and this is why it's good to have a turntable. So we can go all the way around. The good thing is with this pattern is it's really random. That's exactly what we want to depict our stars. And it is as simple as that to get the galaxy effect onto your cake. So once you've made your speckled galactic cake and you've let it dry, we're going to make a topper to go on the top of it. So what we're going to do is make Yoda, because he would look perfect on the starry sky that we have just made. So to make Yoda, we need some dark brown paste, some lighter brown paste, green and a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white. And the first one we're going to work with is the dark brown paste, and this is going to form the body of him. So just want to give it a little bit of a knead to make sure it's nice and soft and great for us to work with. And then what you want to do is roll it into a smooth round ball to start off with. And then use your hands to just roll the top of it so it becomes quite a big cone shape, and at the same time pressing it down on the bottom so that it gets a nice flat surface for us to sit on. So that will form the body. We're not doing complicated shapes here, it's quite simple to recreate. So once we've got that, we then want to start with his robe, and for that we need the slightly lighter brown paste. I'm going to roll it out. And you want to make sure you keep lifting and turning so it doesn't stick down to the surface. And you don't want this too thick because we want to still be able to model with it. So roughly about a 20p piece sort of thickness. Like that. That should be big enough. Then what we're going to do, if we lift up what will be his robe and bring him in, you want to wrap it around so you can see where it finishes, and then with the top, fold it over and fold it over again. And that then becomes the hood of his robe. Like so. And then the back, which I'll bring around. Obviously, he does have quite a long robe, but this is a bit too long. So we're going to just trim it down a bit by using a cutting wheel. And you can roughly choose where you want to trim it. I'm going to go with about here and cut all the way around. And then don't get rid of that because we'll be using it in just a second. You can turn him back round. If your robe doesn't stick down, you can use a little bit of edible glue, but because our paste was a little bit soft, that has stuck down quite nicely already. And you just want to make sure you keep shaping it so it doesn't lose this nice shape that we've given it. Okay, once you've got to this point, what we're going to do now is do his arms. So for that, we need a bit of green paste, and you won't need a lot. Make sure it's nice and soft to work with. And again, you want to start with a smooth round ball and use your hands to elongate it into a bit of a sausage, like so. And then what we can do is cut that in half, just using a little palette knife, and you want to flatten it. And these are going to become his arms. Just flatten the other one as well. So with a paintbrush and a small amount of edible glue, less is more when it comes to this. You're going to glue on the back of the arm. And you're going to glue straight onto the robe and bring the arm across the front of the robe like that. And we're going to do the exact same on the other side. You can bring his arms into the middle. And then just for a little bit of detail, I'm going to make 3 lines like that. Once the arms are stuck down, we're then going to make the sleeves on top of them. So we need that little bit of brown that we had left over. We're going to roll that out. Again, lifting and turning to make sure it doesn't stick down. If you find that it is quite sticky, you can use a bit of cornflour at this point. Darker colours do tend to stick just that little bit more. There we go. And then again, using your cutting wheel, you're going to make an arch shape. And obviously we will need 2 of those. And then these are going to become the sleeves. So hold it up against it. And if you're happy with the size and the shape of that, I think that's fine. We're then going to put a little bit of glue just on the back there. And make sure his hand is sticking out. And we glue his sleeve down like so. And I'm just going to do the other side now as well. Again, make sure his hand's sticking out. And we glue that down. So he's got his sleeves. Okay, now he's missing a head. So that's what we're going to do next. So again, we're going to go back to the green paste. And we're going to do quite a large head. So you want to get quite a bit of paste. And again, start with a nice smooth round ball. And we're going to elongate it a little bit like so. Now you can hold it on, see if that's the right size. Just going to add a little bit more, just make it a little bit bigger. And you want to really give it a good roll so that you get any creases or cracks out. There we go. Again, elongate it slightly. Pop it on. Now I'm happy for that to be the size, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue just on the base here and the base of the collar. And stick his head on like that. Make sure that's nice and stuck down. We don't want his head falling off, that would be the worst idea. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make the lines that are on his face. So for that, doing it upside down, first thing you want to make is the top of the eyes, like so. And then you want to give him the rough eye shape. And then you want to come down to make that bit of his face. 2 dots for the nose, and we're going to give him a straight mouth like that. So once we've got that on, we can make the ears, and again a bit more green paste. And we're going to start with a smooth round ball. Once you have the ball, with your fingers, just going to gently twist the top to make a cone shape and use my thumb to flatten the bottom like so. Now we can hold it on and see if that's the right size, and I'm happy with that. So once you have that, I'm just going to make the second one. Again, doing the same thing, using my fingers like that to create a cone, flatten the base, flatten the ear, and again, I'm happy with that as well. He's got quite pronounced features. So once you've got the 2 ears, we're just going to hollow them out a little bit. So we're just going to press down on both sides, on both ears, like that. Fix it back into shape. We're going to have it bent over just a little bit. And then with a small amount of edible glue, we're going to stick the ears on. Hold them in place for a few seconds just to make sure they're really stuck down. And there we go, there's his ears. So now we're just going to do a couple of finishing touches, including his eyes and the little tufts of hair that he's got sticking out. And for that, I'm going to need some white and some yellow, and again, a little bit of the brown that I had left over. So we're reusing everything that we've got. So I'm going to need a little bit of white. Now for the eyes, they're not round eyes, they're more oval shaped. So to make that, I'm going to roll out some white icing. Like so. And I've got a very small circle cutter that I'm going to use. Just going to put a little bit of cornflour down. Now I'm going to cut out 2 eyes. Like so. And then I'm going to cut them again with the cutter. I'm going to cut a half moon shape at the bottom. And I'm going to do it again at the top. So that will form the shape of eye that we need. So I will do it again with this one. So I'm going to cut the bottom off. And then cut off the top. and then just use my fingers to shape it. So they're the two shapes for the eyes, and we're going to glue those on in the little gaps that we made earlier. So a little bit of edible glue. And we stick the eyes on. Then what we're going to do with the white is to make the little tufts of hair. So I'm going to roll a small ball of white in my hands and turn that into a bit of a sausage. Cut that in half using a palette knife, and then a little bit of glue just at the top of the ears. We'll glue one bit going one way, one bit going the other way, and we'll do the other ear. So you want a little sausage, cut that in half. One going one way, and one going the other. And then to finally finish in, we're going to do the details of the eyes. So you want a little bit of yellow at first. Now it's really difficult to roll two small balls that are exactly the same size. So the way I find it easy to do it is to roll a ball slightly bigger than what you would need, and then cut that in half. And then you know you've got two the same size. We're going to put a little bit of glue just in the centre. And again, these aren't rounded, these are more elongated. So I'll pop one there. And one there. And then lastly, two little balls of dark brown in the middle. And again, I'm going to roll a ball slightly bigger than I need. Cut that in half. Roll two small balls. A little bit in one, a little bit in the other. And there we have Yoda. So we've decorated our cake with some lovely stars and we've made Yoda. And what we're going to do now is make some extra stars just to make it look fantastic on the top, and then we're going to put it all together. So I've got some white paste here, which I'm just going to roll out. Now for these, I'm going to be using the small star plunger cutters, so I want to make sure my paste isn't too thick, otherwise it will get stuck. So some nice thin paste, and then I'm going to hold the base of the cutter, wiggle it about to get a nice clean cut, and then I can just pop them out onto a little bit of foam pad to dry. So I'll do a few more. These are great because you can do quite a lot in quite a short space of time. I mean, I've already now done 4 and it's only been a couple of seconds. So perfect for adding to the tops of cakes. And I'm going to use an even smaller one. There's an even smaller one than this as well, which I won't be using today, but is perfect for little cupcakes as well. So cut out some smaller ones. Like so. So I'm happy with that amount. And then what we're going to do is put it all together. So I've got an already coloured black board, which I'm just going to put a little bit of royal icing into the middle, and that will act as our glue to stick our cake down. You don't need a lot of this, you just need a little bit in the middle. And the ready-made royal icing that comes in the pots is perfect for this. And then we're going to very gently bring our cake in and secure it down. And this is why you have to let it all dry so that you can touch it and move it around. And when you're happy that that's in the centre of your board, what we're going to do is put a ribbon around it, and we've got a really nice silvery spacey type ribbon, which I'm just going to stick down using a little bit of double-sided tape. I'm going to cut into 2, and I'm going to stick it to the back of the ribbon, like so, and then peel the backing off. And this is always the tricky part. There we go. Like that. And then I'll show you around the front. We're going to hold it down and just stick it down over the top so there's a little bit of an overlap. And we'll put that at the back. And then to finish our cake, we're going to use our stars and our Yoda, and I'm just going to use a little paintbrush with some edible glue to stick the stars down wherever you like, just to add. And then finally we're going to use another little bit of royal icing just on the base of our Yoda, and we can stick him down in place. And there is our Star Wars themed birthday cake.